Welcome back to another episode of the HigherUp podcast. I'm your host, Michael Smoke, and today the episode is going to be something I've never talked about before. This thought has been on my mind for a week, and you can't see my desk, but I have no notes. I have no notebook. I just have an idea, and I'm going to trust myself and God to pull me through this, to talk openly and vulnerably, because talking about some of the things I'm going to talk about is going to challenge the very thing I'm saying in the topic of this episode, which is what it really takes. What it really takes to build the life that you want. What does it really take to be successful? If you listen to my podcast, I'm assuming in some capacity you want better for yourself. You want to be a one percenter. You want to get healthier, make more money, live a more fulfilled, purposeful life of servitude. Whatever that looks like, you want to be rare. You want to be an exception in your behaviors, in your life, and in your outcomes of your life. And I had this thought last week of what it really takes. When I was in Mexico and I was on calls all weekend while my friend was doing his pre-wedding festivities, and I missed the first half of every afternoon. And I didn't want to, but I didn't have a choice. And I remember at one point even him saying like, "Okay, are you done working? Can you hang out now?" And I was like, "Yeah, I deserve that jab." But I started thinking like, what does it really take to get to a high level of success? And nothing I'm going to say I want to be braggadocious, or I'm just going to stay rooted in reality. I'm going to talk about how my life has changed and what I believe it has taken to get me here. Before I do that, again, we don't do any plans or ad reads on this show. I do want to say this podcast is officially brought to you by Dream Recovery. I'm proud to say that I inked my first podcast sponsorship contract. It's been a long process. Todd has been amazing. The team has been amazing. I know I've been talking about them and say they sponsor the podcast, but it's all official now. They are my first podcast sponsor, and I'm very excited and honored to say that. So if you need performance sleep products, blue light blocking glasses, sleep masks, the sleep mask they have, the performance one, best in the game. Nasal breathing strips, their second wind strips. I absolutely love those. If you need any products, mouth tape for sleep, I use both of those every night. All three of them, sleep mask, nose strip, mouth tape. If you need anything like that, go over to dreamrecovery.io and use code HU to support your boy and save, I believe it's 15% to optimize and get the most out of your sleep. So let's get into the episode. What it actually takes. I think the reason I've been so challenged by this is because I'm launching a new offer. Well, actually, if you're listening to this, my communication coaching offer is live right now, and I'm actively taking applications. It's on my Instagram story. Hopefully, I don't know. I might upload this tomorrow. Either way, it is live and we're accepting applications, and it's challenged my identity. And that's the first lesson I've learned of what does it actually take to be successful. I think you all know by now the practical tips. I've beat consistency to death. I've told you to find your floors, told you to be relentless about your systems, make sure they can endure hardship. So much of this is going to be mental for you. So much of this has been mental for me. Feeling that I'm worthy of receiving any of the opportunity or blessing or fruit that I get has been challenging. I have 2.5 years ago, I was just working a desk job and I was good at it. I was exceptional at it. I was a very good salesperson. And now I was in GQ magazine twice this year. I've spoken all over the world. I've hosted my own seminars that people have flown from all over the world to be at. Like that's crazy to me. It gets crazy to me. Chris Williamson followed me on Instagram. What? I was on Mike Thurston's podcast. I watched Mike since I was 21. I'm not trying to brag. Like this, I literally can't believe it. But I have to believe it. And this is the advice I want to give you. You have to challenge your identity and what you know to be true about yourself and what you think to be possible for yourself. Because if you want to exceed at a level or succeed at a level that people dream impossible or think is impossible, the version of you are now probably can't come with you. The version of me that I was 2 years ago or even a year ago could not exist in the environment that I have created and curated for myself as a byproduct of my consistency and self-belief and focus on what I want. And it's been really hard as a guy who struggled his whole life to believe that he was capable of fitting in, capable of being smart enough, was told he was mentally challenged, was in all the support classes and borderline special ed classes growing up in high school, like believing I'm someone worth listening to is really, really hard for me. And I'm assuming it's hard for some of you too. But if you say like there's no way these people are actually listening to me, you're going to be forfeited from that blessing. You have to say like there's a reason God is putting this in my life. I'm meant to steward this well, and I'm going to keep showing up as a byproduct. I can and I am. Nick Comodina, my friend, says two of the most powerful words you can say in the world are I am. Because whatever you follow those words with, solidify the identity in your subconscious mind about yourself. And this year has been the year that I have set goals that really do kind of freak me out. And my quote for the year is, where your fear is, there your task is. So when we talk about what it actually takes, it's challenging your identity and believing you can become so much more, and actually stepping into that identity with the words, I am. I am someone who's worthy of being listened to. Or if you're someone who wants to go D1 in a sport, you're a high school athlete, listen to this. I am a D1 athlete. I am capable of doing that. If you're a speaker, an aspiring creator, I am someone who is worthy of being listened to by thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of people. Do not be afraid to speak those words out. When you speak them out, you make them real. And that's what it really takes. It's saying stuff out loud that makes you a little bit uncomfortable. I'm saying things to people right now that makes me uncomfortable to say to them, and sometimes I feel like makes them uncomfortable to hear. For the first time in my career, all right, this is making me uncomfortable to do it right now. So I'm teaching you the lesson in real time. For the first time in my career, in my life, I've said these things that I'm about to say to you to people that I know intimately. I said on a call, and I'm saying to you right now, I'm going to speak on stage in front of 10,000 people. I'm going to change thousands of people's lives in person, in real time this year. That scares me to say. 10,000 people feels like a lot, but I need to lean into it. I told a friend of mine the other day, I'm going to be bigger than Tony Robbins. That is my goal. I want to impact more people than he does right now. I want to build towards that. That's what I'm building. And this freaks me out because all of my programming right now is screaming at me. You're arrogant. You're being cocky. You don't deserve to say those things. Right now, my mind is actively fighting against these thoughts because I know 100,000 of you are going to hear this on the podcast. I can't afford to care about that. I have to know that is my programming. Those are the experiences that I went through that shaped my version of reality to tell me that I wasn't someone capable of doing these things. And when you start to say I am statements, when you get clear on your goals, if you listen to the podcast of Towards and Away of Values, when you start to, if you haven't, go listen to that. It's called A Guide for Building Your Life in 2026. I think it's just a couple episodes back. When you start to get really clear on your goals, they should scare you a little bit. Where your fear is, there your task is. And that's what it really takes. That's what this episode is built upon. That is the message I want you all to take home and take into the week. Where I'm most afraid, the cave I fear to enter holds the treasure that I seek. That is literally, those are my quotes for 2026. Where your fear is, there your task is. The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure that you seek. It scares me to say some of these goals out loud, but it wouldn't be on my heart if it wasn't possible. And it's been on my heart for a long time, and I'm finally just not scared to speak it out. Another goal that is mine is to get on Chris Williamson's podcast. I want to be on the Modern Wisdom podcast. And I spoke it out. I wrote it down at the Tony Robbins Date with Destiny event. And at that event, before I left that event, Chris Williamson followed me on Instagram and DM'd me. Not inviting me to the show. No, we're not there. But it almost felt like I spoke something with clear intention out into the world. I wrote it down. I told people, I made it real, even though it feels uncomfortable for me to say, because I want to say like, I don't deserve that. Who the fuck am I to say I want to get on that podcast? It's the biggest in the world. Blah, 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 blah. Bullshit. You are capable. Listen to me right now. You are capable of doing things far beyond your wildest dreams. You are worthy of doing things far beyond your wildest dreams. God created you in an image with a mission and a purpose. And it's your job to fulfill it and figure out what it is. God steers, you row. You can do so much more than you think possible for yourself right now as you sit here listening to this in your car, on your couch, while you're cooking, while you're walking or running. There's something on your mind or heart that scares you to think about. And I want you to write it down, and I want you to tell a few people you trust about what you want to do. They say like, don't share your goals with people. Don't let them know what you're doing. Bullshit. Speak it out, because once you speak it out, you make it real. When you make it real, you got to make it happen. So what it really takes to be successful in this life is challenging every single fucking thing you know to be true about yourself and doing it anyway, breaking through the programming to live a life beyond your wildest dreams, and realizing people that are living the lives that you want are just people too. And all they did was decide. All I did to have this podcast that I am so grateful and humbled and blessed to have you listening to. All I did to build a platform of millions of people was I trusted in God, I trusted in myself, and I did the work anyway in spite of my fear. Like my friend Scotty K so masterfully says, I did it afraid. I was afraid in everything I've done. I was afraid to plan my first tour. I was afraid to go to dinner with Gary Vaynerchuk. I was afraid to host a 3-day event in Austin. I was afraid to go to Dubai with Whoop. I was terrified to do all of this. And every time I've done something on the other side of fear, I've gone, damn, I'm so glad I did that. And that's what it really takes. So this year, this week, this month, this year, today, step into the thing that you're most afraid of, because that is what it really takes, what it actually takes to build the life of your dreams. We'll do a step check, and then we'll close out the episode. It's 12:06 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I have been locked in all morning because communication coaching is live. I'll put the link to apply in my bio. I've been working on that all day, building modules and looking at applications. So it's 12:06 p.m., and I'm at 588 steps. So drop your step check in the comments if you're interested in coaching. I'll put the application link below. I love you guys. Live the life you're capable of and worthy of living, and I'll see you in the next episode. Peace.